They just don't know what they need to do it, but they've then got to be mindful of it, and we're going to see that he's going to sort of periodically pull out of that just to get some air, trying to get up into his engine to stop it from overheating, which I would say, no, big contact for both of them.
Oh, well, it came to blows in the end. Sorry about that, everybody. I've just realised as well that the stream has had no sound either, so you've not even heard us scrambling around for the audio issues and the technical issues and everything else. So welcome to the Vertex Car Cup. We are here actually for the Doble Bounty Challenge, as tonight has been dubbed. We've got a very, very pretty logo for it. There you go. And the guys get a chance to win prizes this evening, thanks to Doble Motorcycles as well, who've come on board and sponsored the event. Double header this evening as well. Montreal and Daytona, two incredible circuits. And yes, apologies about that, everyone. We have had a bit of a technical nightmare so far this evening. The guys on the Facebook streams as well will see that it says Le Mans 24 Hour for Lux Sim. We set out and set up the broadcast earlier today. However, it seems like it's just completely done new ones rather than go to the ones we've set up. So loads of technology is becoming our friend. We've got a good battle on track here. These guys just getting the times in. Mikey Doble, the man himself, for Mikey Doble Racing, has got, that's Jack Mace and Connor Mills just in front of him there. And we've seen a lot of these guys so far this season, Chris, that they've had good rounds and they've had bad rounds. I think Daytona's probably going to be another level playing field. I mean, last time we saw guys that were usually qualifying in the back right up there at the front, weren't they?
Absolutely. By the way, just to let you know, is that you can barely hear you over music on the Facebook stream, just so you know that as well. I just pressed play.
Dear, oh dear.
So just to let you know that part as well. But yeah, I mean, the amount of times that I was sort of going up high to try and get past one of the cars, and you just rub against the wall. You can get away with it. You can rub and bounce off it, but my gosh, it slows you down. And this is all about momentum. Dramatically, it's about momentum on this circuit, because you can sit pretty much flat out throughout the whole thing. Certainly in what I was going round in, and if you lose that momentum, you're just an absolute sitting duck. Then you've suddenly got the draft, the slingshot. If one of these cars suddenly finds themselves all on their own, they're in a whole world of trouble, and we're gonna be finding them trying to work together towards the end a little bit as well. And we're able to go apparently this whole race without any need for pit stop, unless we suddenly find that we get a caution sort of like mid to second half of the race. Then they may well, if they're diving into the pits, it's penalty, or they've got too much damage and they need to get that sorted. Penalties, look at that double yellow line we see on screen right now. If they make an overtake under that line, they're penalised. And you'd think that's straightforward, but we've got all the questions were coming in the driver's briefing about what if they were pushed underneath it? What if they had to do it to avoid the car in front? And I think race control are going to have their hands full tonight, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we saw we did have a hell of a lot of questions coming in. People asking about the sort of different circumstances, and well, to be honest, I think that race control are going to have their hands full, like you say. But at the end of the day, hopefully they make the right decisions on it, and I'm sure they will. We have all faith in them. We have Mike Yao from Simply Race on the race control tonight with Rob Pearson of Lux Sim as well. I'm actually going to turn these cars down a little bit more, because they are honestly deafening me. I think, in a way, I know that you like to hear the sounds of these things, and it's a shame that I can't stream the sound directly to you, Chris, but honestly, it's deafening right now. It's unbelievable.
Well, I just sort of turned the volume on the Facebook stream, and it's like, wow, that's loud. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's pretty bonkers, to be fair. Pretty bonkers. Great.
And when you're going to get this pack race, I was about to, ironically, we both talk about pack racing as it happens, and we're going to see plenty of that, and that's where, of course, it's going to be even louder, isn't it? The pack racing we're going to see here. I mean, look at it. The high line and the low line, they're just all there. Side drafts, absolutely everything. And, of course, they're just getting a little bit out of shape as they go around here, buffeting around, but needing to make sure that they're away. The spotters are going to be busy tonight, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they're never going to shut up. They're going to be... They're going to get PTSD by the end of it, I think, some of these drivers. They're just going to constantly hear car left, car right, you're in the middle, 3 wide and all that. Patrick Hathaway is there for Student Motorsport. And, well, to be honest, Student Motorsport have said shout out to our featured driver tonight in car 34. quite like the livery on that. I think it says jammy custard on the back of it, which, yeah, it does. Quite like that. Student Motorsport as well, actually. I gave them a bit of a shout out on Twitter and Instagram today. They've actually put the livery from James Harvey's car, this car, onto the Indy Pro 2000. And it's an absolute... I'm not going to describe it the same way I did on Facebook, but I'll tell you what, it's a ruddy good looking car, that. But to be fair, it's one of those liveries, isn't it, that could look good on anything. It's very sort of... What's the word? It's a... not flexible livery, but it's... how do you say it? It would be like it works on a lot of things. Honestly, I struggle for words, but as a commentator, it's probably not the best thing. But it's good to see these guys though that they're very proud of liveries, and I think even in sim racing, it's great that people get that because it means a lot to people that do this, and I love that about it because I'm a massive livery nerd. I can tell you like who ran what livery at what round in what championship most of the time. I'm sure you can as well, Chris. You've probably got an absolute library of stuff in your head as well that you've seen.
More than I realise until you see and go, oh, that's such and such, but I can't recall it without seeing them, that's for sure. There's too many in there.
Yeah.
Too much. I mean, it's like even with these guys is that, as we know, the first couple of times calling these races with you, it was like getting used to it. But now I've got it and you suddenly go, oh, that's such and such, that's such and such. And it is. They keep their liveries. It means something to them. I'm a bit disappointed, though, because I got all excited from what you're saying today that I was going to have absolutely perfect stream at my end rather than blocky, but you teased me. It's not quite true yet, but we'll get there, won't we? We'll get there.
Yeah,
It's okay for all you at home watching this and welcome everybody, but yeah, I don't get the greatest. It's probably made worse. I got it on a big screen as well, which I thought, oh, that would be perfect.
That probably spreads it out a bit, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
It's like trying to put the last bit of butter on one massive piece of toast.
Yeah, but thank you for thinking of me and trying to make it better, mate. I appreciate that.
It's okay. I just wish my internet had absolutely sorted its life out, but we'll be absolutely fine. Alex Cedric is in a different livery tonight as well. He's in the Doble livery as well. He's still down, obviously, his team as Vertex Esports, but he has got their logos on the car this evening. And while it's quite a basic livery, it really suits that car, doesn't it? It looks fantastic.
It does look very, very nice indeed, and I like the fact that they've still kept it, from memory, they've kept it sufficiently different to what Mikey's got as well, so it'll still stand out quite nicely, and we've still got the very proud number 9 emblazoned all over it.
Oh.
And I dare say we'll see him up the pointy end as well to help make it easier to pick him out as well.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I mean, look at the times on the left there. George Tolsman's gone top. But the Jack Mace, Guillaume Hesno, and Brian Crowles are all 1,000th of a second away from each other, and then it's 3,000ths to James Harvey. Cedric's gone second, 14,000ths off pole. Billy Fletcher, 29,000th. Good time there from Billy in the Luxem 24 Esports car. But George Tolsma, well, I mean, he won't mind me saying George isn't usually at the pointy end in this championship, but he was fastest in practice by a good long shot as well, and to be honest, he's done a cracking job there to get his car up there. I wanted to save Billy the embarrassment. I wanted to go away from that just before he prodded the wall. I thought I'd saved him a little bit. This is Alistair Topley, and I believe this is one of your favourite liveries on the grid, isn't it? It's quite a bold Penske livery from Alistair Topley in the Rogue Motorsport car.
Yeah, it hasn't gone over fussy, but it just stands out a mile, doesn't it? The bright yellow with the blue, and yeah, it just sort of stands out. Very, very vibrant colours. Talking of yellow, presumably we do have Aaron Smith here. I haven't seen him yet.
Yes, we do.
At all. That's all right then.
Look at it.
He's gone all yellow now.
Yeah, he's gone back. I think I don't know what he wanted about the wasp with the sting in its tail or anything, but yeah, it doesn't seem like he's got the full livery on. I tell you what, because I don't want to get upset by him not having his livery on. So bear with me, and I'll reload it just so we can wait and see. Because no, it is still. Yeah, he's still got his
old livery.
Here's Marcel Franzene, and he's in the 111 at the moment, bottom of the pile. I'm afraid, almost half a second off, and around a track like this where it's all about momentum, it's very difficult to keep a lap really clean, isn't it? Because it is about every single thousandth on a circuit like this, and it's hard to know where you're gaining or losing time on them, isn't it?
Well, look at that. I mean, first down to 12. He says, I'm just checking. This is cumulative, isn't it, in the gaps we've got there? So first down to 12, separated by 0.093. 12 cars. I mean, it's just insane, isn't it? And that difference can be made up by absolutely anything, because there's a few points where you hit some bumps on this circuit. If what I went on is anything to go by, and that just unsettles you enough that you don't get the clean run that you need. You suddenly got to turn the steering wheel a bit right instead of the left that you should be doing on this left-hander. And it's just going to rub a little bit off. You could have times when you hit it right where you're coming down the slope at the right point. That's just going to give you that extra kick, and it's going to be great. What a way to finish for Aaron Smith there, though.
Yeah, very, very good indeed. And he'll be very pleased with that one. Apologies about my microphone volume, everybody, by the way. I'm not quite sure why it's gone as quiet as it has on here, but this is the beautiful world of Chaz has built PC, and he thinks it's the best thing in the world until he tests it and it's fine, and then he goes into another broadcast. It's not. So, hooray for me. We will have the grid, though, in just a moment for you, and to be honest, Chris, I'll give you the honours, mate, if you'd like to run us through.
No, because it's blocky.
George Tolsma
so I can't read the names.
Aaron Smith alongside him. It's the two Americans on the front row. Would you believe it? At Daytona, Alex Sedgwick and Billy Fletcher, the British second row of the grid. Jack Mace alongside Guillaume Hesno. That's good for Jack Mace as well in fifth. Then we've got Brian Crowles and James Harvey. Jason Glenn and Aaron Cook make up row 5, with Mikey Doble and Jeff Hooper on row 6 of the grid. Behind them is Patrick Hathaway and Justin Nair. Then we have Alistair Topley, Jonathan Hill, Marcel Freinzehner, and reigning champion Connor Mills did not get a time in and has not taken to the grid yet. So I'm not quite sure whether we're going to see him here, but it's two yellow cars at the front, two American drivers, and on home turf, so they'll be pretty happy with that, don't you?
Absolutely, especially as Smith did that right at the death there, didn't he? It was a cracking move for him to do, just as we were talking about his changed livery, and he just suddenly banged in a fantastic time. So we've got, it looked like two yellow cars at the front there, although obviously with the rear end of Tolsma's car being a pink, he clearly likes this one. He's pulled something out of the bag there quite dramatically, hasn't he? And fair play to him. Some of the other circuits, he's just sort of gradually built his way up, and he's done it from the get-go this time.
Yeah, he's done... sorry.
There's Chaz trying all sorts of different mics. He's giving them all a go at the minute. But we start now off on the warm-up lap now. You're back with us, mate?
Yeah. Oh. Sorry.
Well, I'll take us through as we're making our way through, and it is George Tolsma. He's going to be doing something different now that we've seen so far in the series, where he's actually going to be leading this field round and taking this start, which is not an easy thing. I don't know if anybody has done this on the sims, but it isn't just that easy. You've got to keep it within the right realms. You've got to keep yourself in the positions. You've got to be conscious that your tyres aren't necessarily going to be at the absolute optimum, because you're going at the pace of the safety car, or the pace car, should I say, sorry. And then they've just got to get the timing absolutely right to go and blip up through the gears and get themselves up to absolute top speed as soon as they can. But look at the pack racing that we're going to have behind them. It's going to be absolutely mental for all of them, without question. And the pace car drops down to the bottom below the yellow lines. Here we go, and Tolsma's decided that he's out of there, and he's taken Sedgwick with him. Off the start we go already, and Tolsma gets the jump. Sedgwick, did he keep it cool enough there? He's up to second place, and Aaron Smith drops himself into third with Billy Fletcher just behind them. And then basically everybody else.
Yeah, they're going 3 wide at the top as well. Sorry about that, everybody there. It turns out that my microphone had picked up the webcam microphone over my headset originally, and then the volumes went absolutely nuts when I switched it over. But look at this pack racing we've got already. So close between all of them. It's side by side for the lead. Alex Sedgwick has already managed to get up there side by side with George Tolsma on the top. Billy Fletcher's trying to get on the inside. Jack Mason there as well. Aaron Smith has dropped like a stone on this first lap. Really hasn't kept it together, but we know in races like this that can very, very quickly change. Down over the line for the first time then. 20 laps here though. Not a very long race at all, Chris, and I think we're going to see some very feisty stuff from these guys, because they've got such a small time frame to get the job done.
It really is, and I thought that was intriguing when we saw that for this particular race, because the fact we've got this double header, that it is just a relatively speaking short, sharp 20-lap race, that certainly the latter half will expect that to go very, very quick unless we get a number of yellow, white and checkers. We've got Jack Mace keeps blipping in and out. I noticed that in practice, but hopefully it's going to be okay. Sedgwick does take the lead. And Guillaume Hesneau's trying desperately to come around the outside. This is important for Guillaume Hesneau because he sits in third place in the championship. If we take Alex Sedgwick as a pro out of that list, he's actually second in the championship behind Aaron Smith by only 26 points. Bearing in mind it's, 46 points for a victory. And at the moment, Aaron Smith, as you say, he's dropped down to 7th place. So this is absolutely perfect for Guillaume Hesneau at the moment. In the 68 car at the top of the track there, the orange, black, white, red colour in any others that you want. But Jack Mace has got a good run on the bottom there. He's gone up into 4th place at the moment. Dosey Do, your partner. Tolsma back to 3rd. Billy Fletcher up into 6th, but 6th? It's good, but not that good.
Yeah, but
look at the absolute bump drafting on the lower. You've got the 2 distinct lines. It's like the fastest snake in the world, isn't it? It's snake racing. Look at it.
Just weaving around all over the place. Getting comments in the chat saying the visuals aren't as great. I do apologise, everyone, as Tolsma's gone down below the line. What's happened there, George?
Oh,
no. What has happened there?
Penalty.
Not sure, actually. That's a very strange one. Jack Mace, though, was
either
side by
that or he
side.
fell down and he couldn't just rejoin, could he, of course? That's the problem.
Yeah, I suppose so, but even still, he did drop off a lot more than was needed from him, I think. But look at this lot, 3 wide there near the back here. This is Justin Naya in the middle. He had Aaron Smith on the outside. Aaron has really dropped back as well. We'll go on board with him just to see what it's like from his point of view. Yeah, I understand the visuals aren't as great, everybody. Sorry about that. It's the internet side of things at my end. And I'm really not sure what Aaron's problem is here, Chris, but this isn't the performance we know and love from him. There's a bit of deviation in the middle there. Guillaume Hesneau is now 3 wide. Billy Fletcher on the outside. Jack Mace to the lead. He's now in the middle line. Look at these lot. That's absolutely bonkers. Hesneau going up. He's known for that before, and he's done it again. Honestly, him and Billy, they've got like some sort of like bromance going on, with one of them running up wide. I've got people shouting in the street outside. You can hear them. They're getting excited by it as well. Oh, as we go down, there's contact in the background, and that is Justin Naya, Jonathan Hill, Marcel Freinzane. Oh, Jonathan Hill's been smacked into there, and there's a yellow out for that one.
That'll teach him for not having the Gravedigger livery on. We need Jonathan Hill to have his Gravedigger livery on. If he had that, it'd have been okay. Look at the banking we've got there. He's actually got...
He just can't.
That goes to show you. But you just see the way he was wedged there. That goes to show how steep that is. Again, yet another one, although this one always was. Talk about bucket list to go and see this. It just must be incredible. It's like the fastest wall of death going. Do you remember that from the fair ride?
Yeah.
If you don't, ask your parents. They're probably old enough to remember. I am. So, but that was just a real tricky one. Wow. I mean, it was all set to happen, that, sadly, wasn't it? The way they were pack raced and the whole lot all together.
Yeah, there's a bit of a check-up here. They're 3 wide. You've got Connor Mills in the middle. Let's have a look. Justin Naya comes down. He's in the middle. Oh, Topley just goes over to the right a little bit. And then the contact, they concertina off each other. And honestly, they're like billiard balls in there for ages, just bouncing off one another. And unfortunately, it's Jonathan Hill that comes off worst. But yeah, that was... a pretty
great
big
recovery from the other student motorsport car there, though, wasn't it? Fair play to Patrick Hathaway in that very distinctive livery there, the 34 car. He got sort of bumped and bored for his first time out with us instead of spotting for James Harvey, and he managed to ride it out until he got it back on the straight and narrow again.
Yeah, and
something we could all learn about there.
The thing is, you don't really think it's going to happen that much. Look at it, they're all just weaving around for so long. I'm amazed that there wasn't more of them go around there, because that could have been so much worse, but they got away with it.
Once the tank slapper sets in, it's really hard to get it tamed again, so he did a great job there. Naya, Aaron Smith, George Tolsma, Jonathan Hill, they've all gone into the pits, I see.
We've got a couple in.
Hill probably to get repaired.
I really don't know what's happened to Aaron Smith, but these two are on the front row as well, Tolsma and Smith. So It's
Of
gone
course they were,
completely
weren't they?
backwards. So that it was 2 yellow cars, now it's 2 blue cars, because we've got Alex Sedgwick and Brian Crowell's 5 places gained. Connor Mills has gained 7, but Brian Crowell's up there with 5 places gained. It's a good run for him so far. I'm sure
Brilliant to see young Jack Mace up there in third as well, because he went into Iowa with confidence, because he felt it was a circuit that was going to suit him, and it just did not go to plan. Not all his own fault there by any stretch of the imagination, and it's good to see that he's got himself going absolutely brilliant here on the Daytona circuit. And if you're more suited to this than a road circuit, you're going to have to really stick it out for this one and get yourself up as high as you possibly can, because by the time they get onto the second part of this double header, they know that they're going to be up against it. So the likes of Jack, whatever you've done, by the way, I've got an amazing picture here now.
Oh, right. Not quite sure.
Did you put 50p in the slot?
Yeah. Well,
But
I
yeah,
don't know
Jack
whether
Mace
that's,
doing well.
Whether that's just changed it. I mean, it seems a bit smoother at my end as well. So please do let me know if it all goes to pot again. But yeah, we've got a lot smoother pictures here this time, everybody. So fingers crossed that sorted it. And well, it was a very simple change in the broadcasting software I use. It's still a little bit jumpy as the cars go through, but yeah, has it gone downhill again, Chris?
It has, yeah.
No, it's honestly.
Well, but we're lining up now. We're getting themselves into the grooves.
Yep, it's going to be go time very soon once again. It's good to see the 2 Doble cars in similar liveries, actually. You can see Mike Doble just there in the background as well. The same livery as Alex Sedgwick. And often in NASCAR, teammates don't have the same the same liveries in NASCAR. A lot of the time they'll have similar numbers. Like I know that the what was the name of the team? I think was it Chip? No, it's not Chip Ganassi, is it? The guys that ran the Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart, and Kurt Busch cars used to all be 4, 14, and 41, which is I'm a big fan of that. Little sort of themes across a team like that is always good in my eyes. But sometimes it comes down to just the colours, doesn't it?
Yeah, and Doble's obviously changed, because I'm sure he was blue and turquoise before, so he's gone for the both on the blue and white, but just Doble's 22 on the side is in yellow compared to the 9 on Sedgwick's is in white, so that's another way of picking out. Plus they've gone nice and big with the numbers, as you'd expect in these cars as well. But normally when it's identical livery, I tend to hate them as a commentator.
Well, we're very I think as in NASCAR, yeah, I appreciate that, but with sort of tin top racing and open wheel stuff, I really can't stand it when people have got different liveries, because I always think it's like a uniform. If they're not wearing the same uniform, I don't like it. But
they've got to be there's got to be something different on them though, otherwise it's a nightmare.
Oh yeah, from a spotter point of view as a commentator, I totally agree on that, because if we can't tell who it is coming towards us, then we can't shout their name out. Anyway,
Exactly.
I can shout Alex's name, because he's definitely coming towards us, and he's doing it at a rate of knots. He gets away from Brian Crowell's off the line. Guillaume Hesno thinks, right, I need that bottom line, boys. Watch this. Smashes it down there. He's just in front of James Harvey now, and Brian Crowell's is going to be waiting for somebody to just come and help him at that top line. Guillaume's decided to go back up there, or has he? He's going to come back down. Guillaume's doing his old tricks that he did at Eldora here, Chris, where he liked to change lane a bit. But look at Jack Mace go. He's really pushing it.
Well, not just that. Look at that. Harvey on the bottom line's got past Guillaume Hesno. So
Fletcher and Hesno again.
And they've held it. They've held it. No, top please now. It's been hit into the side of Jonathan Hill again, isn't it?
Yeah, Jonathan Hill and Alistair Topley. I think Topley just came down really quickly. Like he absolutely flew down there, I'm afraid. I have to say that was on him from first glance, but we'll have another look.
Well, I think that as a result of the incident ahead of him, sadly, which is a shame.
Let's have a look what happens here then. So yeah, Crowell's and Hesno get into the wall, and Hesno keeps coming down. And yeah, Topley, he does his best to get out of the way, but just comes straight across. And I think that was down to the Hesno contact, I think.
It was, exactly. That's what I thought I saw. By the way, I just picked up as well the 96 car there of Aaron Cook. What a beautiful livery he's got on there. He's got the Vertex livery, hasn't he? That,
yes.
Seen in the touring cars and what have you. I'm liking that one a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. And obviously it's the reverse of Alistair Topley's car, which is blue on the front and yellow at the rest of it.
Yeah, I obviously like the yellow and blue then, don't I?
Oh, aye. Big fan. Did you happen to like Renault Lagunas in 1997? But here's the white and blue of Alex Sedgwick then, in the Vertex Esports car. And, well, he had a 100% win record on the ovals in Season 1. He got his first one round Iowa last time out. He's going to be going for another one here. Already half the race gone as well. Don't forget, everybody, 2 races tonight. We're going to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, which I can't believe I'm saying, one of my favourite tracks in the world. And we're going to watch Xfinity cars go around. I'm like a kid in a candy shop.
And it's not going to be easy, from what I was hearing, is that all of them, including Cedric, was DQ'd, is that they're picking up penalties from the track limits, by the sounds of it. It's a bit difficult getting these boats around the Gilles Villeneuve circuit, from what I hear.
Oh yeah, there's slowdowns galore. Anyone that doesn't know, iRacing gives you an automatic, what they call a slowdown penalty. You just have to give back about a second of your time usually. It can be anywhere from a second to 2 seconds. If you cut half a circuit, it'll be like 40 seconds, but hopefully we won't do that.
Ooh. Hesno went in the pits, by the way, just to let you know.
He did, yeah. I think he might have got damage from hitting the wall, because he went in.
Well,
although it was Crowell's,
Remember that the important issue is that I was sort of saying this was interesting, that as Aaron Smith was falling like a stone through the field, Guillaume Hesno was up at one point. I think he was up in 2nd or 3rd place, and he sits there only 26 points behind Aaron Smith at the top of the championship standings. And so it was going to be a great move for Hesno, but it's just come dramatically undone. The only good news for him is that Aaron Smith in the 70 car is only up in 12th place at the moment, in a car that does not seem to be handling as well in the race as it was in qualifying.
Yeah, it's very strange that Aaron obviously got it done so well in qualifying and was right up there, and now he's way back down there. So, real strange one for him. But yeah, Hesno can't really take advantage of the situation by the look of it. So we'll have to see what he can manage in terms of a recovery drive. But yeah, getting these things around Circuit Ville-Gilles. Circuit Ville-Gilles.
Easy for you to say.
I know, yeah. There's a lot of chicanes, and you can very easily cut them. And especially in these cars where they don't respond very quickly to when you turn in, it's not like you can suddenly turn away from the curb and it respond and not spin. So we're going to have a lot of fun watching those guys around there. It's going to be a very entertaining race. Hopefully we can give you good coverage of that. Again, everyone, I do apologise for the technical issues this evening. It's all on me at the moment.
Just talking of technical issues, that's not us. It was in the car that Connor Mills, we say that he didn't get it out into qualifying in the number 1 car. He's got himself up into 8th place now.
Yes, I just noticed that. I was looking up and down the gains on the left-hand side of my screen. I'll show you them as well now, everybody. Just while we were watching them filter through, he's actually gained 10 places, and Aaron Smith, second on the grid, has lost 10 places. So it's mixed fortunes for those guys.
I got no data available on my timing screen for some reason.
Oh, it's odd.
You know, the link that you send me, the SDK gaming. It did for practice, but I've got nothing on there now.
That's very odd. I'll chuck you another one, mate. I've just to try and sort things out, I'll change the name of the room on it. So there you go. Try that one.
Thanks.
See whether that one comes up. But yes, we've got mixed fortunes all up and down the field. George Tolsma obviously lost 13 places from the pole position. Jack Mason, James Harvey are having a good run though. Jason Glenn as well. Let's not forget Jason, number 55, position 5. And he's been really improved this season. It's been great to watch Jason. And I think he's in line for a good result here. Lap 12 out of 20 as well, everybody. So over halfway through this race. And I think we're going to have an absolute corking finish to this one. Don't forget as well, we do get green-white checkers in iRacing as well. So it does simulate the real-world stuff. And I think it's going to be very entertaining for us to watch. To be honest, though, I think Alex just wants an easy ride to the end, don't you?
Yeah. Well, not really, because he's the one that's buzzing when he's involved in a Titanic tussle, to be fair, isn't he? When he comes on the mic to speak to us. Is that them? Go, it is. So it was a single file restart, and Cedric didn't manage to dominate that. And in fact, it looks like Jack Mason not being able to do it there. He was looking up the inside, and he's taken James Harvey, the Student Motorsport car, who had a great run just before the caution came out. He got himself up into 3rd. Crowd just behind him. Jason Glenn trying desperately to hold off Billy Fletcher, but Fletcher on the outside, and there's about 3 of them in a line there. Connor Mills behind him in the 1 car, and that lovely 96 of Aaron Cook just behind him. The car, I mean, I don't know about Aaron. He's probably lovely as well, but But look at this, we've got the two grooves, but most of them have gone for the bottom line at the moment, but those three at the top still going to be punching. Now suddenly Jack Mace decides he's going to try something different. I guess he needs to, because what's the definition of insanity? Keep doing the same thing and expect a different result.
And that's what I keep doing with my sound settings on my PC. Yay! Jack Mace, though, I'll tell you what, he's been very impressive here, and he did say that he thought he was going to win at Iowa, and he said that was probably one of the only races he was going to win if he wins one. And he's doing an absolutely corking job here. Up there with...
Billy Fletcher's doing well, mind, isn't he? He's up there into third now, just behind Jack Mace.
Yeah, Billy was a bit under the radar earlier, not quite up there at the front, but he did start in fourth place, actually. So he's gained one, but still, it's hard to stay up there in a race like this. Look at that pack, that's absolute... It's just like a pack of Skittles has been poured onto a racetrack. Look at them, they're all over the place now, all deciding to go to which line they want to go, all fanning out, trying to lower the temperatures, and that was one of the things that I hadn't really considered before in this sort of racing. Oh, we've got a car around, by the way, Freinzehner's had an issue. Hathaway, Hesno, and Aaron Smith as well. Wow.
So that's two, second and third in the championship, or first and second if we take the pro out of Alex Sedgwick. Those two, isn't it? Hesno and Aaron Smith, and they're right at the tail after another moment that sadly they didn't quite recover it in time, did they? So the caution's out again.
Yeah, not quite sure what caused this. Then we'll go on trusty chopper cam and have a look at what happened to Freinzehner. So you've got Hesno in the middle, Tolsma on the outside, Hesno into Smith. Hesno into Smith, and then he just drags him along.
And that came from, Hesno had some incredible speed in there at the back there, didn't he? And he was just trying desperately to thread the eye of the needle, but there was no hole in the needle for him to go through. But look at the speed he carries in through the middle there, up the inside of Tolsma, trying desperately to find that gap on Smith, but he just washed out. But I mean, you're talking inches, if that, weren't you, that he just washed out a little bit there and caught the rear end?
Yeah, it was the tiniest.
Nearly collected the pace car as well.
I tell you what, that would have been a shock, wouldn't it? If you're sitting there in the pace car thinking, oh, I wonder if there's going to be an incident today, and then you get involved in it. That's a bit of a strange way to run your day in a pace car. But yes, it was maybe a bit unnecessary. I mean, these guys are pushing for every millimetre here, and on a track like this, obviously, overtaking, it's not easy, but it can come quite quickly if you get the right run. And I think that the problem there was that Hesno was just a little bit impatient, and I think we saw it earlier as well.
I've got to say though, from doing it earlier, is that these things, once you get going, it's not like you can apply ABS brakes or anything to this thing and just slow yourself down a little bit. That momentum keeps pushing you through, and you're gone. And of course you've punched the hair, through the air. And it literally is sucking you through towards the back of those cars. And he thought that he got himself down the inside, and both of them just moved the wrong way. One zigged while the other zagged, and it caused a problem. It's as simple as that. But talking of issues, I mean, how sad to see that is that Jack Mace was looking really hot there in the lead. And just before the caution come out, he finds himself in third place. But great job, James Harvey, up into second place, the student motorsport car. Doing a fantastic job there. He's not got his normal spotter, has he? Because Hathaway, who's actually gone into the pits, I see, is out there on the circuit, but he's doing a good job. And Billy Fletcher, he's still trying his hardest in fourth as well.
Yeah, we've got some good names up there, back at the front again. And I think we're going to see a good conclusion to this race then. Lap 17 out of 20 at the moment. Alex Sedgwick is still your race leader after a very good bout with James Harvey, Jack Mace, Billy Fletcher, Brian Crowles, Connor Mills as well. 12 places gained, the reigning Vertex Stock Car Cup champion, doing an amazing job to get back up there.
And he's still sat in fifth this year at the moment, isn't he? So he's still not out of it. I noticed, by the way, Hathaway didn't go up on the jack, so that must have been just some damage repair that he had. So he obviously got clobbered somewhere in the middle of all of that and felt that it was compromising him somewhat. So he's been in to get that fixed. We were told that that's probably the only thing that's going to get sorted. Naya's now getting to the front of the field. That's one way to do it.
Yeah, very, very true. Justin has made up a couple more positions. Although, he made up some earlier though, and I didn't realise he was an entire lap down.
Which, judging from the screen, he wasn't.
Yeah, bit of a strange one. Maybe he's... We'll have to
Into
ask
the
on that
pit
one. I
now,
think,
though.
yeah. I think that the damage on that, I think he's just been waved around just so we can get it sorted. But Alex Sedgwick then has another lap of caution yet, so we're going to be onto a green-white checker, I believe. Not an intentional one, but I think that's how it's going to work out. Either that or this is going to become lap 19 now. Or it should do. And then we will... They're going to line up double file this time as well. So this is lap 18 still. So when we go onto it, they're going to go green, white, checker. Yeah, so it's going to stall it until we have lap 19, then onto 20, and then boom, race finish. Hopefully, anyway, not boom accident, but boom race finish. But with how much these guys are going to be scrambling around to try and get every position possible here, Chris, I think we may see some dives and some moves and maybe a bit of contact, but we pray for a clean race and a lot of entertainment from these guys, and they often give that to us. So, to be fair, I think the fate of our entertainment is in their hands now, to say it that way.
It certainly is. Now, remember, Brian Crowles is actually level on points with Guillaume Hesno. Hesno and Smith are right at the back, so Crowles in 5th at the moment. He's going to want to capitalise on this as best he possibly can. And he's got to take some confidence. 3rd, 4th, 5th were his last 3 races. So at the moment, he's trying to get himself as far up, maximise the point difference between the 68 and the 70 cars that are in 14th, 15th at the minute. He's got to be rubbing his hands with glee and thinking, how far can I take this?
Yeah, definitely. Every position he sees in front of him, all he sees is just points and numbers. And obviously these guys as well, they're all going to be competing to an overall points tally for tonight. So they can get some prizes from Doble Motorcycles, who have kindly sponsored this event, hence the name, Doble Bounty Challenge for these 2 races. There's backfire everywhere as they all let on and off the throttle. Sedgwick's going to floor it, and away they go. A nice smooth restart. James Harvey not caught napping too much there. I think he did a good job of that one. But Jack Mace is just using that slipstream, and he's helping push Alex down the inside there. A little bit of moving around there. That was Connor Mills on the outside. Crowles just looks down the inside. But Sedgwick, well, he's got this pretty sorted at the moment, if you ask me.
Well, he's not getting his own way, though, is he? Oh, caution again.
Got another one. Guillaume Hesno. Hesno in the wall. We've got Aaron Smith off as well. Jeff Hooper's involved. Freintain is all on his own.
Yeah, he was in the pits, wasn't he, when this restart happened, I think.
Yeah, what's happened here, boys? Let's have a look. Chopper cam once again. There's a bit of movement in the middle. Oh, Hesno in the middle again. Hesno into Hill, into Hooper, and then Smith just gets sandwiched on the outside. Smith gets, takes a wallop as well from Patrick Hathaway. That was a big hit there, and let's have another look at that from Aaron Smith.
I think, in fairness though, that looked like just the risks of pack racing, didn't it? I mean, it was only a tiny little touch there.
Yeah.
Hesno was just sat there. In fairness, he didn't move, and the car up above him came down on him, and it's pack racing for me.
Yeah, it's one of those things. He saw the gap opening in the middle. I don't quite think Jonathan Hill intended to open the gap on the middle as well. So he obviously came back down to get back in line. And
that crabbing.
Oh wow, it's now a drift car. I know that the bodies on these cars aren't quite mounted straight, and it looks a bit strange when you see them driving in a straight line towards you. But that's definitely not just that taking effect there. Brian Crowles has made it up to 3rd though, so he's going to be very happy with that, and that could be important because now he's going to be on the inside with Alex Sedgwick, isn't he? If it's a double file restart, that is.
Yeah, exactly, and this is it's just what Crowles needed. Smith down in 17th place, Hesno in 12th, him sat there in 3rd at the moment. This is just going to make a big difference on the points and shake up the lead. Bearing in mind that after this one, we've only got another 3 rounds, one of which is later this evening. So it is getting towards the business end, and Brian Crowles, he's just doing what he needs to do, and he's doing it under the radar, really, isn't he?
Yeah, that's
you think the other 2 are sort of getting all dramatic, aren't they? Smith is into the pits as well as Hooper with the damage, unsurprisingly. But yeah, Crowles is just keeping it clean and just sort of picking the spaces. He's working out whether he goes the high or low line, and it seems to have worked every time for him so far. It's going to be a slightly different position this time, and James Harvey in the Student Motorsport car there, who's had a cracking race as well. He's going to be trying to make sure. He got hung out to dry a little bit, didn't he, on the last restart? And that cost him a little bit, but not too much. They're still in it. And Jack Mace, I think he can sniff the win, can't he?
Yeah, it's certainly going to be his to lose now, I think. But this is going to be go time for a lot of these guys. It's going to be a very scary moment, I think. We'll have to see.
Of course, they all want to outscore Sedgwick for the prize, the cash prize as well, don't they, for outscoring the pro?
Yeah, that's one of the main things. But Alex is going to be...
Yeah, the Doble bounty.
Yeah, he's going to be battling that to the end.
He's under strict instructions from Mikey Doble not to cost him money.
Yeah, he's just saying, no, don't you worry. He's probably going to be just trying to bribe Jack Mace with anything else, to be fair. But we'll have to see whether that works. But this is... It's so nerve-wracking even for us because I just can't call it. I don't know how it's going to go in terms of the battle at the front. We've got another lap, and as you can see from the safety car lights still being on. But what do you reckon? What do you reckon, Chris?
Hopefully this is the last one.
Yeah, I'm going to put the pressure on though. I mean, who do you reckon? Because we've lost some big names in this one from the top, and I think that Jack Mace and James Harvey and Brian Crowles and Billy Fletcher as well, they're all going to give a good push to Alex Sedgwick, but I don't know if they'll be able to do enough.
Well, there's a part of me that's thinking it's either going to be Jack Mace or Brian Crowles that's going to take the victory, because what I mean by that is that Jack Mace is going to do a do or die, that it's going to get him the win, or it's going to take him and Sedgwick out of it, and Crowles is going to lick his lips and just dive through to the front. That's my prediction.
Yeah. It's all just going to fall into place for one of them anyway. We know that it's not a straightforward situation.
The experience of Sedgwick's going to count a lot here, isn't it? I mean, he knows the lights are out on this on the pace car now, so we are going to get one, and it looks as though we're going single file restart, which is good news for Sedgwick.
Yeah, he's going to be pleased with that.
Krause has just dropped back a little bit, isn't he? He's going to see if he can get a bit of a run on these guys. Go that fractionally earlier than them. He needs to make sure he doesn't leave too much of a gap, obviously, but I think that's his plan, whereas Sedgwick's right up with the pace car, isn't he? And Jack Mace is just understandably making sure wherever Sedgwick is, he's going to be there as well, whereas Krause, he's trying to keep himself clear and get a run. Well, that's probably two things he's trying, keep him clear and get a run, to be honest.
I'm just wondering what Jack Mace is thinking right now. Jack, very young racer. He's certainly quick though. I think he's got a lot on his plate now to try and beat Alex Sedgwick. They're weaving around a lot there. Guillaume Hesno actually just had a bit of a moment weaving there. He's had a bit of a scrappy night as Hesno. He's not going to be too chuffed with himself for this one, but here we go then. Away they go. And this is going to be a green-white checker. Let's keep our eye on the middle of the pack. Although Sedgwick, I tell you what, he's got Jack Mace tucked right up behind him here. This is very, very close.
Restart by Jack. Absolutely brilliant restart. But look at that, Crowles and Harvey. They've suddenly created a great hole through the air there, and they were about to go up to the high line. And Sedgwick contact, and Jason Glenn just got tipped round there on the straight as well, interestingly.
Yeah,
Who went with him? It's Connor Mills.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what occurred there for Jason Glenn, but we'll have another look. Oh, he came down on Connor Mills by the look of it.
Yeah.
Try
Connor
it again.
Mills has got a good run off the bend, hasn't he? And he's gone up the inside.
Yeah.
Up into the gap, he goes, wow. Oh, I mean,
Tiny.
again, it's just millimetres in it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just so little margin for error and moving around like that. And obviously these guys want to try and get the best run they can and get into the gaps. Brian Crowles is now second. So he's going to be loving these restarts because every time he has one, he gains another position.
That's intriguing. I'll be interested to know how that happened, because Mace was putting so much pressure on Sedgwick. I don't know whether we're able to see where that happened, because I thought that Jack Mace in the 36 car was actually looking more likely to be snatching the lead away from Alex Sedgwick. He actually lost the place in the end.
I think he might have just cleared him on that top line, you know, because Sedgwick and Mace were moving around a lot on the bottom. There's a tiny touch there. And just before the yellow comes out, Crowell just gets his nose in front, I think, before the yellow came out.
Just, and Harvey didn't quite, I don't think, did he? But look at, you see the speed that both of them took through there on the outside. They'll be livid that the caution came out there, wouldn't they? Because that's compromised both of them, because they would have gone 1-2.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. They could have gone so quickly through to the lead there, and well, it just didn't happen. And it's so difficult for them to try and come back from that. I mean, it can really sort of play on your mind that you were so close, and things can get desperate when you try it again. I do worry that we're going to see maybe some desperate moves in here, but we'll have to see what happens. Because
what do we get? We get 3. We're allowed 3 attempts, aren't we, at the green-white checker?
Yes, yeah. We'll have 3 attempts, and then that will call the end of the race. But wow, we've been treated to a good one here. This is only the first race of the night as well, everybody. Don't forget, we have 2 races this evening for you. So
it's your fault for saying it's going to be over quickly, this one. It's all you. It's all you, mate.
Oh, don't you worry. I know. But yeah, we're gonna have a good time this evening with the second race at Montreal as well. And I think Alex Sedgwick, he's probably just praying for a green run to the end. I mean, he might want more battles to carry on going here, but I'm pretty sure that he'll just want to collect the win at this point. Here's Aaron Cook, who's up to 5th place, doing a great job at the minute. 5 places gained for him, and a lot of them, you know, they're just the guys that have dropped off. And Revolution Satellite Racing have 3 cars in this race, and they are Jonathan Hill in 16th, Connor Mills 17th, and Aaron Smith, who's out of the race, or he's at least in the pit lane still. So, not a race to remember for those guys. Connor Mills and Aaron Smith, of course, championship contenders as well. Brian Crowell is having a dream of an event now up at the top. But this is it's crunch time, and another lap under caution, as we can see from the lights on the safety car. The windscreen looking nice and mucky as well. Plenty of running and plenty of hard racing here. But he wants there to be no cars in front of him, never mind the pair of them like this. He'll be just thinking now, what can I do about this restart from Alex? Because we've seen that Alex is good at them. The only person that could probably match him properly recently has been Aaron Smith. And I mean, Jack Mace did a good job of it, but yeah, I think we're going to have a hard time beating Alex Sedgwick from one of these other guys. What do you reckon?
Well, yes, potentially. I think so now. I mean, you know, I think Brian's probably going to be a bit more circumspect because, as I say, he's been very much play it cool trig through the whole of this race, hasn't he? That has worked absolute wonders here, which I would, you know, I know is his style anyway, but I would go as far as say he's had it as a master plan here of going, right, do you know what? I think around this super speedway, keep the powder dry. You're going to be in the mix somewhere at the end of it. And he's proven that at the moment. Unfortunately for him is that he's a massive sit-in duck now for, you know, Jack Mace just behind him. James Harvey was kind of doing the same thing, wasn't he, as Crowell's? And they're not line astern anymore. So it's kind of in a very different order to what we've seen so far. That I think you may well be right, is this could enable Sedgwick to just scamper away enough to remove the risk of him getting, because he was just getting tapped a little bit, wasn't he? And which is what compromised him and Jack Mace. They just kind of drafted a little bit too hard.
Yeah, it's easy to think, oh, maybe a push will help us out here, and then sort of lose out because of that. I think it's such a strange battle.
I'm nervous. Here we go. Then. And Jack Mace is already looking, and he's trying to get up the inside of Brian Crowell, but Crowell stood his ground, but Jack Mace has got the move done, and he's just bolted him onto the back of Sedgwick, and Sedgwick's probably going, oh, for crying out loud. I thought I'd managed to get away from you once, but no, Jack Mace is through. Crowell's down to third. James Harvey pouncing all around in the background there. Now the two of them are stuck together again. We saw these two work a dream just before the caution came out, but look at that. Aaron Cook up the inside in the 96 car. The Vertex livery car has got himself up into 4th place and still going. Jack Mace down below the yellow line, so he couldn't make the move, and James Harvey up into the wall.
Yep, another incident there, and unfortunately, someone that's been running so well, James Harvey, well,
Gone straight to the pits. He's going to be furious with that, isn't he? We don't know whose fault it was at the moment, but wow, he's going to be absolutely livid because, as you say, he was looking so good there. Back to stone last. I don't think he's even coming out by the looks of it.
No.
Our pole sitter, Tolsma, had got up into the top 6 there, and he's coming into the pit lane now, interestingly. So I wonder whether that had something to do with it.
Yeah, let's go back and have a quick look. Mikey Doble was the one that apparently went off circuit. That's what triggered the software anyway. It's just ahead of that. Oh, there's a bit of a mess back here as well. And they all get caught up. Yeah, Tolsma was in the wall at the top too.
Separate events, weren't they, those then?
Yeah, it all just sort of culminated together when the guys at the front slowed down a bit, didn't they? Let's just have another quick look at where James Harvey was at then. Let's see. Wow, Jack Mace goes down across the circuit like that. And then they all start pushing each other. Oh, it's a wheel bang, and it just pops Harvey's car in the air. He hits the wall. Tolsma and Hooper go straight into him, and Mikey Doble exits stage left. And that's a very, very big and nasty spin for James Harvey. Round and round it goes. But wow.
Pack racing again, I think, was it not there? I mean, it just was... Harvey came down fairly strongly, but I don't know. I mean, that was a weird one, wasn't it?
Yeah, just... it's one of those things.
Crowell's up into the lead.
Yeah, Crowell's has inherited the lead from that one, actually. It's
wow.
Quite crazy, but...
He's gone, you called it, he's gone a step further every time a caution's come out.
Yeah, he's going to be loving life, to be honest with you.
He's going to beat the pace car next time then.
He's going to be absolutely loving it, bless him. But the thing is, though, when one of them makes a rash move or just comes down a little bit higher or lower than someone else is expecting, when they then react to that, if there's another car, there's a big domino effect in these sorts of races that we see from stuff like that. And I think that sometimes there's just no getting away from it. And like you say, pack racing, it causes these sorts of things. And I don't think that there was anything some of the guys could have done there, in all honesty. I mean, you can slam on all you want, but you might still get hit in the rear.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, by my reckoning, this will be the last go at a green-white checker.
Yeah, we should have just one more lap of this caution. I think we've still got lights on the safety car. But I think that, tempers may be running a bit high, especially some of the guys that were right at the front. I mean, James Harvey, he's in the pits now, and he's actually very, very bottom of the pile, I'm afraid, in the number 40 machine.
I don't think he's coming back out.
No, I'm not sure he will be, but he's got... I don't think he's getting repairs. Obviously, they do have to get towed back to the pit lane, so they do have to wait for that as well before the repairs start. So whether the race will be over by then, I'm not sure. But we're going to have another lap. You can see the safety car lights just flashing away there, everybody. On the roof as well, the little... well, there's like strobe lights, aren't they, effectively? The ones that scroll across. But Alex...
that'll explain why I'm sat here going big fish, little fish, cardboard box, because they're strobe lights. I got you now.
Oh, God. I think Alex is playing a bit of mind games here, because he's sticking very close to the back of Brian Crowell's throughout this safety car period. He's not letting him sneak away.
Well, it's interesting, this. I mean, we've been mentioning about how good Crowell's is. He's normally the one on the spanners, isn't he, in the real world? And I reckon we should be seeing him behind the wheel more often, you know.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job of it. I think that he has shown a lot of talent in the sim since.
Well, you look, he's gone, 6th, 10th, 3rd, 4th, 5th. That's been his 5 rounds in this Series 2 of the Vertex Stock Car Cup so far this season. I mean, that's just impressive running, isn't it?
Very, very good as well, and obviously it's consistent points finishing. That's the thing. We saw Connor Mills won the championship last time without winning a race, and it's just all about staying in those top few places. It's easy to drop down. I mean, there's
Safety pace car lights are out, by the way.
Yes, they are, and we're going to be getting going in just a moment. But it's easy to get caught up in incidents in these cars, especially when you've got pack racing like this as well. It's so frantic and it's full on, isn't it? I mean, you don't sort of have a rest when you get onto a straight. That's the main time when people are moving around and trying to overtake you. But it looks like we're going single file then, which could help out Brian Crowles, but I'm a bit worried for the guys behind because they're all going to try and find their own lines here. 4th place as well, Aaron Cook. Let's just see what he can do. Jeff Hooper's in there as well, despite being in that incident earlier. And here we go then. Brian Crowles is going to lead them on lap 30 of this 20-lap race as we go on to lap 31. Yeah. Here he goes then. 31 of 32, and well, Jack Mace has got a really good start, nearly contact with Aaron Cook. Jack goes up a little bit higher, Aaron's still moving over a little bit. The pack has broken away from the guys at the back, but Brian Crowell's still leading this one. Then Sedgwick second, Cook has gone into third. And I tell you what, that would be a hell of a way to make your debut in the Vertex Stock Car Cup, get a race win. But look at Alex, he's really pushing Brian here.
Yeah, we don't even know anything about Aaron Cook, do we? We haven't even got any notes on him. He's that new for us here, and he's doing an awesome job so far. Taking Billy Fletcher with him by the looks of it, but Jack May's trying to hold on. But look at this fight for the lead. Absolute blunt drafting. At what point are we going to see Alex trying to just dive out from the toe, and is he going to make the move? I would not like to be Brian Crowles right now.
No, never mind the back end of the car twitching. His other back end will be twitching as well. We're going to get the white flag, I believe. Yes, so this is going to be the final lap of the race now. And Jack Mace is now dropped down to 5th behind Billy Fletcher. There's a pack behind them, but Mace is now trying to come around the outside there of the Luxem 24 Esports car. Here is Jack Mace. He's not quite made it work. There's no one else up there with him to help him. That's the thing. You need help if you're going to try and make that work. Crowles and Sedgwick, though. Sedgwick just giving him the push. It'd be great for Brian to get a win. I mean, I'd be very pleased for him. And look at Aaron Cook, though. He wants to push forward. He really wants to push. It doesn't look like Sedgwick's putting that much pressure on now. Maybe he's going to just try and get a run out of the final corner. Mason Fletcher still side by side, but out of the final corner then. They're going to start the run to the line. Is Alex going to take it? He's gone down to the low line. He's going to try and make it work there. Brian's going to come down to defend from him. They're nearly going to make contact. He's wobbling around, and it's going to be Brian Crowles taking it at Daytona. Very well done. That was beautiful. Alex played a great strategy game there. Just waited. You could see him hold back a little bit through NASCARs 3 and 4, and then he just got his foot down. But wow, Brian Crowles just held on to that by the skin of his teeth. What a brilliant, brilliant finish there. That was amazing, Chris.
Unbelievable. I mean, we've seen this on TV kind of thing, haven't we, before? But to actually see it before our very eyes right this time was amazing. And you could see it coming from a mile away. And Crowles just was not able to shut the door early enough, was he? And Sedgwick was trying everything. And they were both, as you called it, they were wiggling their way across the finish line. But Crowles held it, and an absolutely fantastic job.
You can see Alex just held back a little bit there, and then he got his foot down, got the run. Came out at just the perfect time. Brian didn't squeeze him all the way because he wanted to avoid the contact. But if we just look at it now, we're going to go in slow-mo as well. Aaron Cook, though, 3rd place. Great for him, but look at that. That is just how close it got, and it's barely even a bonnet's length. And Brian Crowles is your race winner, and deservedly so, doing the donuts as well. He's going to be over the moon. So here are the race results have not quite finished yet. We're still waiting for 1 or 2. Oh, there we go. We have race results for you, but Brian Crowles takes the win at Daytona from Alex Sedgwick and Aaron Cook, podium on his first attempt. 4th place, 444 thousandths of a second, is Billy Fletcher in the 88 car. Then it's Jack Mason, 36, in 5th place. Jason Glenn finished in 6th. Jack was in 5th place. Jason's in 6th place. Connor Mills, 7th. Mikey Doble, 8th. Marcel Freinzehner in 9th, with Jeff Hooper rounding out your top 10. Then we have Guillaume Hesno and Justin Nair, followed by Aaron Smith. Unlucky 13 for Aaron, he had a bit of a rough ride there. Alistair Topley finishing 14th ahead of George Tolsma in 15th. Patrick Hathaway and Jonathan Hill were 1 lap down, and unfortunately it is James Harvey that props up the table from the bottom there. As you can see, a 737 in the background there, coming in way too hot for landing, in my opinion. That was a brilliant, brilliant race, though, to get our night started, though, Chris. I mean, we saw, obviously, quite a lot of incidents partway through, but, I mean, it was to be expected, wasn't it? But that finale of that race there was an absolute belter.
I mean, it was. It was sort of getting frustrating with all the cautions, but my goodness, they finished it with aplomb, didn't they?
Certainly did. Now, it's the time in the broadcast, everybody, where we're going to just disappear for a moment.
We're not. Are we interviewing anyone? Because I know they called us back last time to do that, didn't they?
Oh yes, yeah, we will. We will actually tell you what. Well, out of all people we could speak to, we'll grab our race winner, Brian. Very well done, mate. That was absolutely beautiful stuff. I bet you're very, very pleased to have held on to that.
That was some race. I really enjoyed that one.
Well, just talk to me about the end, because we could see Alex hold back a little bit. I thought he was going to try and make a move, and it just didn't work for him there. I mean, did you expect he was going to beat you to the line when he got the run?
I was full on prepared for it, yes. I was looking more in my rear view than I was looking in front of me at the end, at the last lap there, because I knew he was going to either try it or not. I saw him back off a bit. I was like, he's going to try and get the run, so I shut the door on the inside. So he had to go below the double yellows if he wanted to, which kind of worked out as well, and we took home the win there.
Brilliantly done, though. It was very, very entertaining to watch. And when you started 7th on the grid, did you expect to be able to come through in a field that strong and still get the win? I mean, we know in NASCAR that stranger things have happened with people being further down the order at the start, but did you expect to be able to do it like that?
Well, I mean, it's Daytona. Anyone can do it. As we've seen, Tolsma was one of the first guys to qualify, and he's usually one of the slower guys, which isn't a bad thing, but anything can happen at Daytona. So I was just making sure I kept my nose clean, put the right lines into perspective when they came up, and just be there at the end. That's the important thing.
And Brian, it's Chris Dawes here, and that was exactly what I was saying. I called it that you were almost kind of, everything you were doing was deliberately under the radar. You were just sort of like edge yourself forward, not getting involved in everybody's mayhem, to the point that it looked like a game plan of just keep your powder dry.
Yeah, well, me and Jason are obviously of the same team. So in the perfect scenario, we would have both hooked up and stayed at the front and took our run when we got it at the end. Chaz was also a major help there. We were all kind of working together, which went perfectly, and we had the plan of just stick together, and if the line opens up, take it and go for it and see how far we can get, preferably at the end, of course.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome to watch, Brian. Very well done, mate. I'm glad you got another win in the championship. I know that your ever-extending fan club on YouTube and every other stream that we have going will be very pleased. We're just loading into the circuit Gilles Villeneuve session now. How do you reckon it's going to be getting around there?
Seeing the test servers this week, it gets pretty hairy halfway through the race, I'd say. It's a very small track for these cars too. Well, maybe not too small, but when you're in it, it looks small to take it with two people. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, fingers crossed for you, mate. I'm sure it'll be an entertaining one all the same. And, well, you never know. We may be speaking to you in a little bit and you'll have another win.
Hopefully.
Brilliant stuff. Well, we'll speak to you soon, Brian. Very well done.
Thank you.
Cheers.
See ya.
Well, we're just going to take a very quick little break, everybody, while we just get into the second session of the night. I'm Chaz Draycott with Chris Dawes in the box with me for the Vertex Stock Car Cup, and we'll be just jumping across to Canada in literally a case of minutes. So bear with us, and we'll be right back with you. Just getting things all sorted then for the second race of the evening, everybody, and we'll be back with you in just a moment. The drivers are just practicing at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. It's bound to be a very, very exciting second race.